The sky wept with me. Rain fell in thin silver lines over the black umbrellas gathered around the casket. My husband, Daniel, had always hated gloomy weather, said it made the world feel smaller. Yet here I was, burying him under a gray sky that pressed on my chest like grief itself. People murmured condolences I barely heard. My mother held my arm, whispering, "Be strong, Emma." But how could I be? Daniel was gone. My partner, my best friend. The pastor's voice faded as my gaze locked on the polished wood of the coffin. A cold wind brushed against my cheek, almost like a touch. And then, in that stillness, my phone buzzed. I frowned, slipping it from my coat pocket. The screen glowed with a message from an unknown number. "I am still alive. Trust no one." My hands trembled. The world around me blurred. Daniel's coffin was being lowered into the ground. I froze, heart pounding in my throat. It had to be a cruel prank, some heartless scam. But Daniel's name flashed at the top of the message thread. My breath caught. It was his number. I reread it a dozen times. "I am still alive. Trust no one." My rational mind screamed impossible. The police had confirmed his death. A car accident, his body identified. I'd seen the ring they recovered from the wreckage. "Emma?" My friend Leah's voice pulled me back. "Are you okay?" I nodded quickly, pocketing the phone. "Just a headache." The funeral ended, but the message burned inside me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I scrolled through old photos, old messages. The way he smiled, the way he'd say, "You and me against the world." Then, another buzz. "They're watching. Don't tell anyone." My blood ran cold. The following morning, I sat at our kitchen table, untouched coffee growing cold beside me. I stared at my phone. No new messages. I thought about showing Leah or the police, but the words, "trust no one," echoed in my mind. Instead, I opened the contact info. Daniel's number still existed, but the last location pinged 3 days ago, near the old harbor. That was strange. His accident had happened miles inland. I grabbed my coat and keys before fear could stop me. The harbor was quiet, seagulls circling above. I walked along the pier, searching for something, anything. Then I saw it, a small wooden bench. On it sat a single white envelope with my name, written in Daniel's handwriting. Inside, one line: "They think I'm dead. Don't look for me yet." My legs weakened. I sank onto the bench, clutching the letter like it was oxygen. Daniel was alive, or someone wanted me to believe he was. I spent hours rereading the note. His handwriting was unmistakable. The tilted D, the looping M. But why would he fake his death? Who was they? When I returned home, Leah was waiting. "You've been gone all day," she said, worry etched across her face. "You shouldn't be alone, Em." Her concern should have comforted me, but something about her tone, something tight in her eyes, made me uneasy. That night, I hid the note inside Daniel's old journal. Before sleeping, I whispered to the empty room, "If you're out there, Daniel, please tell me why." Somewhere outside, a car engine idled, watching, waiting. Days passed. Silence. I tried to return to normal, answer condolences, manage Daniel's company papers, pretend I was healing. Then, one afternoon, while sorting through his office, I found a photograph tucked behind a drawer. It showed Daniel standing beside a man I didn't recognize. Tall, clean-cut, with a scar along his jaw. On the back of the photo were the words, "Project Orion. Trust no one." My pulse quickened. I remembered Daniel's vague explanations about his work, something about data analytics and security contracts. but nothing about a project. That night, curiosity won. I typed Project Orion into Google. Nothing concrete. Just a few mentions of a discontinued government program. I was about to close my laptop when another message appeared. Stop searching. They'll come for you next. The sender, Daniel's number again. The next morning, Leah dropped by unannounced, carrying muffins and her too bright smile. I just wanted to check on you, she said, glancing around. You've been so isolated lately. I forced a smile. Just tired. She sat at the table, talking about ordinary things. But when my phone buzzed, her eyes flickered toward it, too quickly. After she left, I found something she hadn't noticed, a small USB drive on the floor near her chair. Curiosity gnawed at me. I plugged it into my laptop. Inside was a single file, Orion Log D1. It was a video, grainy footage of Daniel in a lab, whispering urgently into the camera. If you're watching this, Emma, something's gone wrong. They found out. Leah isn't who you think she is. The video cut off abruptly. My entire body went cold. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound felt amplified. The next morning, I went to the police station. I almost showed them the video. Almost. But what if they were part of they? Instead, I asked vague questions about Daniel's case. The officer frowned. You're Emma Collins, right? His accident was ruled clear. No sign of foul play. He paused, lowering his voice. But the body was badly burned. We couldn't confirm dental records. Only DNA. Only DNA. When I got home, a man stood by my door. The same man from the photograph. Mrs. Collins, he said smoothly. I'm Agent Brooks. I need to speak with you about your husband. Every instinct screamed to run. We sat in the living room. Agent Brooks placed a folder on the table. Your husband worked for a classified division of the government. He began. Project Orion was a cybersecurity operation that went rogue. He uncovered internal corruption, people selling secrets. My pulse pounded. So, what happened to him? Brooks's eyes darkened. He was supposed to testify, but before he could, his car exploded. Then who's texting me? I blurted out. His expression changed. Surprise, then fear. You've been contacted? I hesitated. Yes. He leaned forward. Emma, whoever that is, it's not your husband. He's gone. These people use deepfake messages to manipulate witnesses. But something in his tone didn't sit right. His hands trembled slightly. After he left, another message appeared. Brooks is lying. He works for them. I packed a bag. Instinct told me to leave. Before dawn, I drove toward the cabin Daniel and I once rented in the mountains. No one knew about it, except him. Halfway there, headlights appeared in my rearview mirror. Too close, too steady. My phone buzzed again. Keep driving. Don't stop. I'll meet you at the cabin. I floored the gas. The other car sped up, weaving behind me. Panic surged through my veins. Then, a sharp turn, gravel, a narrow bridge. I crossed just in time. The pursuing car skidded and crashed into a ditch. When I reached the cabin, my hands were still shaking. It was dark, cold, and silent. Until I heard footsteps outside, a knock, then a familiar voice. Emma, it's me. I froze. My heart hammered against my ribs. That voice, it couldn't be. Daniel, I whispered. Yes, please, open the door. I can explain everything. For a moment, I stood still, hand hovering over the lock. Every rational thought screamed no, but emotion overpowered logic. I opened the door. There he stood, thin, unshaven, eyes shadowed with exhaustion, but undeniably him. I staggered back, tears filling my eyes. How is this possible? He stepped inside, shutting the door behind him. I didn't die, Emma. They made everyone believe I did. Who are they? He sighed. People I trusted. People inside Orion. And if they find out, you know I'm alive. He grabbed my hands. You're in danger too. Outside, the wind howled, but it almost sounded like footsteps circling the cabin. The fire flickered weakly in the cabin's hearth, casting long, trembling shadows on Daniel's face. I couldn't stop staring at him. His familiar eyes, the tiny scar near his brow, the way his hand brushed his hair back when he was nervous. It was all him. But beneath the reunion's warmth was a deeper, more terrifying truth. Daniel, I whispered, why didn't you tell me? Why fake your death? He exhaled, the sound heavy with guilt. They were coming for me, Emma. I had evidence, proof that Orion was laundering classified data. People high up, people you'd never suspect. I thought if I died, they'd stop hunting me. But when I learned they were watching you... He looked up, eyes glistening. I had to reach out. That message was all I could risk. A cold realization settled over me. So Leah? He nodded slowly. She works for them. I trusted her once. That was my mistake. The wind rattled the windows, like the world itself was holding its breath. The next morning, Daniel spread papers across the table. Handwritten notes, encrypted flash drives, maps. This is what I've been hiding, he said. The files prove everything. If we release them, Orion falls. But why not go to the authorities? I asked. His expression darkened. Because Orion is the authorities now. He slid a flash drive toward me. This one's different. It's coded with your birth date. If something happens to me, it'll unlock automatically and send the data to every major news outlet. My hands shook as I held it. Daniel, what are you planning? He hesitated. There's one last server we need to access. It's in the city. I can't do it alone. Before I could answer, his phone buzzed. He checked it, went pale. They've found us. We fled the cabin as headlights appeared through the trees. Branches whipped against the car windows as Daniel drove through the narrow forest road. Behind us, engines roared. 2 black SUVs gaining fast. Daniel, I shouted. He jerked the wheel, sending us off the dirt path and onto a hidden trail he must have memorized long ago. The pursuers overshot, skidding past. We didn't stop until we reached an abandoned gas station miles away. There, under the dim light, Daniel's hands trembled as he refueled. We can't keep running, I said. We need help. He looked at me, desperation softening his features. There's only one person I still trust. Who? He hesitated. My brother. I blinked. Your brother? You never told me you had one. His eyes darted away. There's a reason for that. We drove through the night, finally stopping at a remote farmhouse surrounded by rolling hills. A tall, bearded man opened the door before we could knock. His expression flickered between shock and disbelief. Daniel, you're supposed to be dead. Daniel smiled faintly. Guess I'm bad at staying that way. They embraced, tension melting for a brief moment. This is Emma, Daniel said. My wife. The man nodded curtly. Name's Caleb. Come in before someone sees you. Inside, the place was simple but secure. Reinforced locks, computers humming softly in a corner. Caleb's eyes met mine. You brought her into this mess? She didn't have a choice, Daniel said. Orion already targeted her. Caleb sighed. Then we move fast. I've got a contact who can help get the files out. But once you do, there's no going back. I saw it then, the faint fear in Daniel's eyes. He'd crossed a line long ago, and we were all standing on its edge. For the next 2 days, we barely slept. Caleb and Daniel worked to decrypt and transfer the Orion files, while I watched the horizon for any sign of movement. At one point, Caleb pulled me aside. "He's not telling you everything," he said quietly. I frowned. "What do you mean?" He hesitated. Project Orion wasn't just data theft. It was surveillance on civilians, psychological manipulation. Daniel didn't just expose it. He helped build it. The words hit me like a punch. Later, when Daniel returned from outside, I confronted him. "Is it true? You were part of it?" He froze. "Emma, I did what I thought was right at the time. They told me it was for national security. But you spied on innocent people," I said, voice breaking. "I'm trying to make it right now," he shouted. Then softer, "That's why I need you to believe in me." I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But doubt had already taken root. Night fell. I went to fetch water from the well outside, my mind a storm of questions. That's when I saw headlights, 3 vehicles approaching fast. I ran inside. They found us. Daniel and Caleb grabbed the drives, rushing toward the back exit. But before we could escape, the front door burst open. Leah stepped in, gun in hand, her smile cold and sharp. "Hello, Emma," she said. "Miss me?" Daniel moved to shield me. "You don't have to do this, Leah." "Oh, I think I do," she replied. "You stole something that doesn't belong to you." Caleb lunged toward her, too fast, too desperate. The gunshot cracked through the air. He fell instantly. "Caleb!" Daniel screamed, but Leah's men stormed in, forcing us to the ground. Leah crouched beside me, voice dripping with venom. "You should have listened when I said to move on, Emma." She grabbed the flash drive from my pocket. Then everything went black. I woke in a dark room, wrists tied, head pounding. Dim light filtered through a crack in the door. Voices murmured outside, Leah and someone else. "We'll finish this once the transfer's complete," she said. "No loose ends." A key turned in the lock. The door opened and Daniel stumbled in, his hands also bound. His face was bruised, but defiant. "Emma," he whispered. "I'm sorry. I never wanted this." "We're not dead yet," I said. He smiled faintly. "That's the woman I fell in love with." We waited until the guards switched shifts. Then Daniel nodded toward a rusted pipe behind me. Together we used it to cut through the ropes. When we slipped out, Leah's voice rang through the hallway. "They're gone. Find them." We ran. Gunshots echoed as we fled through the facility's lower levels. Daniel grabbed my hand, guiding me into a storage room. "We can't escape with the files. They'll track them. But if we destroy the servers..." He began pouring gasoline over the computer banks. "Daniel," I said, realization dawning. "If you light this..." He looked at me, eyes filled with calm resignation. "It's the only way. If they get that data, millions more lives will be ruined." Tears burned my eyes. "Then we both go." He shook his head. "No, you still have to live. There's another copy, on the drive I hid in your necklace. Remember our anniversary gift?" I touched the small pendant around my neck. I'd never known it could open. "Emma, you're my redemption," he said softly. "Go." He kissed my forehead. Then he struck the match. I ran until the explosion lit the sky behind me. The roar swallowed everything. Sound, sight, breath. Flames tore through the compound. Leah's shouts faded into chaos. Hours later, I stumbled into the forest, collapsing beneath a dying tree. The night was quiet except for the distant crackle of fire. I clutched the necklace to my chest, sobbing. In the morning, news broke worldwide. Government whistleblower exposes Orion conspiracy, dozens arrested. Anonymous leaks had flooded the internet. The files Daniel sacrificed himself for had been released. I smiled through tears. He'd done it. He'd made it right. But as I turned on my phone to call for help, a new message appeared. I made it out. Don't tell anyone. My breath caught. Could it be? Weeks passed. Investigations swept through the country. Leah was caught trying to flee overseas. Caleb's body was recovered and buried with honors. And me? I was left between worlds. Grief and hope, loss and love. Every day I reread that final message, but Daniel never sent another. No calls, no proof, just silence. One morning I went to the ocean, the place we first met. The sun rose golden over the horizon, waves curling gently like they were whispering secrets. I took off the necklace and held it to my heart. Inside, I found a folded piece of paper tucked beside the flash drive. It was Daniel's handwriting. If you're reading this, I'm gone, or I'm free. Either way, don't wait for me. Live. That's how you save me. Tears streamed down my face. For the first time in months, they weren't from pain. They were from release. I whispered to the wind, "Goodbye, my love." A soft vibration buzzed in my pocket. Another message appeared. "Thank you, Emma. You did it. I love you." No sender ID, just those words. I smiled through tears, watching the waves carry the morning light. Maybe he was gone, maybe not. But his message, the lesson, was clear. Sometimes love's truest act isn't holding on, it's letting go. And in that moment, I finally did.